going to feel a little forced.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things. Welcome back to the Project Gen X podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Alan Smith, along with...
I might be the other guy, Big Dave.
And we're coming to you post-Thanksgiving this week. It has been... what's the word? It's been a holiday. Let's just put it that way.
Yes. Yes, it has been.
Oh, you're making my headphones come here now.
I got to turn these headphones
Oh, yeah,
down
I switched it around.
there.
So, yeah. Is it too loud for you?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, it's because, I like to hear myself talk. So
Yeah,
it's,
you do. Yeah,
actually,
I was there. Turned it on. I was like, I'm deaf.
Yeah, sorry
I'm
about
deaf.
that. I did a little bit of rearranging before Dave got here, so you get to hear how the sausage is made here. So I've been preparing an episode for a while now that
One of your deep episodes.
Yeah, and I was hoping we would get it in November because of the fact that there's some significant things that happened in November around this.
Yeah.
But we're not going to. But it is one of those. It's one of those episodes where it can be done anytime.
You really move stuff around here. Something's
I rearranged. Well, I didn't really arrange. I had to move some stuff around this week in here. So
Gotcha.
we really ought to get back in our studio at some point. So
Yeah.
it finally cooled off, so we can get in there.
Probably at some point. Yeah.
We're kind of flying by the seat of our pants on this one. It is because of the holidays.
Wait, we were supposed to wear pants?
It's not required. So
Okay, just checking.
That's funny. My dad, we were sitting talking. You say no pants, and it reminds me of something a story my dad told yesterday.
Here we go.
No, it's my dad has worked in construction, for almost 50 years now.
Yeah.
And in some shape, way, or form. And he was telling about years ago. This would have been back in like the mid '80s or something. Going into a house, and my dad just these random stories every once in a while. Him and my great uncle going in to basically go in and give an estimate on a job over in North Nashville, and this was back before that area was an up and coming neighborhood when it was pretty rough.
Okay.
I mean, it was that was like, for the longest time, for those of you who don't know, North Nashville was like the place you did not go because it was just so crime ridden, and it was just really, really bad neighborhoods. And they went over there, and he said they walked in, and there was a card game going. He said there were stacks of money on the table, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, come on, blah blah blah." I said there were kids running around, and at one point, he said this naked woman came walking out of one of the bedrooms and just like walked by and said hi and just went on in like the bathroom or something, which is like,
no. Oh no. It's going to be one of those episodes then. Okay.
And I was like, I started laughing. I was like, kind of sounds like some of the card games minus the kids that we used to have at my house 20 years ago.
For the record,
you were not at any of these. I
never attended any of them.
Dave's always covering his butt on this stuff. So. But no, it was just like, there's your call. There's your tie-in to not having pants for the episode.
No, I didn't start coming to the card games until there was money and clothing.
Yeah. Well, that was it was all a bunch of dudes just hanging out. We're right here at the very end of November, and there's I got to thinking, and some of this is going to tie back into my larger episode that we're working. The bigger episode that I'm working on is about HIV and AIDS.
Okay.
We just
what was the year?
We commemorated two very big, unfortunate milestones with this, especially pop culture wise.
Okay.
And something I want to talk. It's like just talking about November in general. It's funny to look back 30 years ago. I was a senior in high school, and November. November, as far as school goes, is always kind of strange because you've got a 2-day holiday coming up. Yeah. 3 depending on
your school system or and, whether it's college or
high, college or high school, and then you're basically from there to
the second week of December when finals are happening.
Finals are happening, and then you're out for 2.5, 3 weeks, depending.
Or a month.
Yeah, depending again, So it's kind of that weird downtime in a lot of ways, but it's funny to look back to that time and think about how much happened in that November.
Yeah.
For me, not just for me personally, but like in the world even.
Do you want to put a year on it?
Yeah, this has been it's at 30 years. It's been 1991.
Okay.
So, and I want to, because of course I didn't
This is where that flying by your seat of the
pants is one of those things where I'm like, oh yeah, I got to. Oh wait, let me get this one thing. The first thing was that in November, early November, I think it was November 5th, if I'm not mistaken. Again, not doing
any research,
not doing the research I should have, and I can look it up
like we always do. Which sometimes I can't do because you don't tell me what we're talking about.
But Magic Johnson gave his press conference telling the world that he had HIV, and that was a huge. I remember that really well. And when we do our episode about this, we'll come back and go into these. But I remember that really well because it was one of those things that I had no idea what was going on. I was at home. It was in the afternoon. And I remember my dad coming in to the back door and like, turn on ESPN. Like, what? He's like, turn on ESPN. You're like, all right, And he's giving the press conference, And he had been listening on the radio, and it wouldn't come through. And it was one of those like, wow, dang, man. It was just kind of one of those, wow, that is...
Because
who saw that
if I remember right, he was like the first celebrity to announce, or did Freddie...
No, well, here's the thing. We're going to get to that, too. And I was going to say, 2 weeks later... Well, no, it was more than that, because Freddie Mercury died on November 24th.
Yeah.
And the thing is that he did not announce that he had AIDS until the day prior.
Yeah.
That he was in full-blown AIDS and, that kind of stuff. And then he was dead the next day. And it was kind of one of those things that you can go back and watch that video for... These Are the Days of Our Lives, which is the last music video that they and he looks gaunt. He is so skinny, and and it was one of those.
Well, you could kind of see when he did the video for "I'm Going Slightly Mad" that he did not look like himself. That something was going on.
There was a little bit there as well, but and so you've got all of that going for of like, oh wow, and the weird thing being that in just a very short amount of time, Wayne's World would come out and bring Bohemian Rhapsody back to the masses in a huge way. And it wound up going to number 1 in the U.S., which is higher than it ever charted
when it was first released.
Way higher than it ever charted when it was first released. That song became huge, almost 20 or 15 years after it was released, type thing. And you also, in November of that year, was when Nirvana started really picking up steam.
Yeah.
To where it's like, hey, what's this new thing? Of course, we covered, albums that were released in 91. Ooh. Albums that were released, so you've also got, Bad Motorfinger, Soundgarden is picking up, and when the Chili Peppers are getting hot, and and all this, and Guns N' Roses had released the Use Your Illusion albums a couple months earlier, and they're still sitting at the top of the charts, and Michael Jackson just put out a new album. It's just one of those things where all this stuff is just like bang, 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 bang. It's happening in November, and U2 released Octane Baby that month, and that another huge album, that was the reinvention for them, and it's just all this stuff is happening, and I'm 17 years old, and I also met my very first girlfriend during that time period, and it was yes, I was a late bloomer. I was 17 years old before I ever had a girlfriend, and but it was just one of those things where it was like, oh, and then that wound up being a complete shit show. But
I was sitting over here wondering if you were going to get into that or not.
Well, no, because there's not a lot to tell there, to be honest. It was one of those things that, you meet somebody and you're all excited about it, and then you find out that you're not compatible, but, you're excited to actually have somebody, and so you just keep holding on for way too long because, it's new, or it's the first time, experiencing all this stuff, and then it's well, how did that happen? You know, it's funny because like I had to go back and think about it. I was like, wow, that's been 30 years. And I have not seen her in.
Don't do it. Don't do it. You will speak it into existence.
No, not with her. It wouldn't. Like again, I don't even know if she still lives around here, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of one of those. Don't think that I haven't tried to look her up on social media at some point back, you know, whatever, and still couldn't find her, you know.
Yeah.
But just out of curiosity, because the last time that I remember seeing her was at Dancing in the District. In the
Which show?
I don't remember which one. It would have been somewhere in the late 90s, maybe. I don't know. And literally, it was in passing. I was walking, and her and whatever dude she was with, you know, were walking the other way. And it was kind of one of those, like, I looked over and saw her, and then, like, did that, like, is that her? You know, type thing. And I got a second look at her, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I recognize that I'm not having a good time look. So.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah.
No
comment.
Yeah, that's some people just are never going to be happy. So
yeah.
But yeah, so you know, that was weird. But then you go 20 years later, or you go 10 years later, I should say, to 2001. You know, and this was Brody and I flew out to Las Vegas, and you know, this was like just a couple months after 9/11.
Yeah.
And I remember because we had round trip tickets. We got on the plane, flew there. We had round trip tickets nonstop that we paid less than $100 a piece for. Not each way. Less than $100
for the round trip
because they were trying to get people back on planes.
Nobody was flying.
And so we went out there, and our friend Toad was out, had been out, you know, in the West, like kind of he'd gone to Burning Man and kind of like stayed out there and kind of traveled around and been a nomad for a couple 3 months. And so we met him in Vegas, and you know, that was a lot of fun. I saw U2 while I was out there, and then we come back home, and I go and see U2 again. And
so when they played Vandy?
This is in 2000. It's way before they ever came to Vandy.
Okay.
I went to Atlanta to see them, and it was right before Thanksgiving. Like either right before or right after. I don't remember the dates right off the top of my head. But you drove down, and of course this is in the days before, you know, some people had cell phones, but there were no smartphones. There were none of that kind of stuff, you know. And we get there, and they were playing at Phillips Arena, which is attached to the CNN building. You know? So we're like, okay, well, let's walk over here into the CNN building and grab a bite to eat real quick in their food court. And we walk in, and there are pictures of George Harrison everywhere. And he had died that day. Yeah. And so it's been 20 years since George Harrison died.
I remember when that happened.
And
because he was actually, he's probably my favorite Beatle, with Paul McCartney being my second favorite.
Well, I can't help it that you're wrong on that one.
Well, who's your second favorite then?
Harrison's probably my second favorite Beatle. So
who's your first
like
favorite?
John Lennon.
Oh,
are
John
you?
Lennon
guy, yeah. I know he was a piece of crap human being. That I really like his music a lot more than anybody else's.
When it comes to songwriting, I'm kind of a Harrison then McCartney.
Harrison was an amazing songwriter.
Yeah.
I mean, he and his guitar playing is underrated. You know,
absolutely.
He was, you know, so. But yeah, so we get that. You've got that everything, and then I also remember like a different girlfriend, like breaking up with her shortly thereafter, like right before finals, and right, you know, I'm like, yeah, she was getting ready to go like into finals, and right before the holidays, and
so you ruined Christmas for her.
Yeah, well, I ruined a lot for her, so. But yeah, just thinking about, you know, all that kind of thing, and also, you know, the fact I was working at Party City at the time, and that was a fun time in my life. You know, I was 27 years old at the time, and just kind of that last being single and no responsibilities and, you know, all that kind of stuff that would last for another year or so before I started talking about getting married, you know, and really like planning to get married, you know. And so it was kind of one of those, And then I don't even remember 10 years ago. I'm trying to think what was going on then. I was just married again for the second time. Like I'd been married less than a year, and that's about all I got at this point. So, that's. But yeah, November has always kind of been like one of those weird times of the year. I'm sure if I went back through a bunch of stuff, I could find. I do know that 25 years ago, this was when I had gone back to college, and it really was. A lot happened that year in 1996, but it was one of those things that November wound up being kind of the come down for a lot of stuff. November through the end of the year, and then it got really bad in early '97 of problems with depression and everything. But damn, I had a really good manic run for several months prior to that. So.
Yeah. You get into November and December, and I was reminded of that, but he reminded me that November and December, those 2 months put together, have more suicides than all the rest of the months combined.
Right.
It's just a hard time of the year.
Yeah. It's that I always, being a night person, I have always been a night owl. I mean, that is when I was a kid. My son's the same way. He will stay up till all hours of the night. And I mean,
3 o'clock
that
in the
kid
morning.
stayed up, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes,
Yeah.
And it's not for lack of me trying to get him in bed or, anything. It's just, it's like, dude, you got up at 6 this morning. Why are you still awake? It's like, I understand because I was always kind of like that as well. I could go,
well, there's also the insomnia.
There's the insomnia that we have talked about on here before. When the time changes, now it changes in November. It used to be at the very end of October.
Right.
They pushed it back 2 weeks. And when that happens, I get both a sense of excitement and dread at the same time every year, because I do enjoy it getting dark earlier. There's something about, and I can't quite put my finger on it. I was thinking about it the other day because I was out doing something, and it was like 6 o'clock, and it felt like midnight.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to thinking back to those days of going out, like when I used to go out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Of, as much as I hate the cold, and I hate the cold, I always have, there was always something about being in a crowded bar, drinking and having a good time, and this is before things got out of hand, but, like back when, in the days when it was still fun, going out and doing that kind of stuff, but in the back of your mind knowing it's cold outside that window right over there. Like when we leave here at whatever time we're going to leave here, it's going to be cold. And I don't know, it's almost like it's a different feel being in that situation than it is like partying during the summer. Yeah. Because in the summer you're probably going to be outside or, whatever it is, type stuff. But there's something about it. It's almost like a defiance of the cold in some ways, of raging against the cold in some ways, of like, we're going to do this and screw you and, type thing. Yeah. But it's just a weird, I don't know.
See, for me, I've always been a fall and winter guy. I prefer the time change. Mm-hmm. If we never had to spring forward ever again, mm-hmm. I would be happy, because when we lose that hour of sleep during the spring,
you don't really lose an hour of sleep.
I know.
we don't gain nor lose an hour.
When the clock changes,
I know,
and then suddenly my body thinks I'm getting up an hour earlier.
Right, I know.
It physically hurts me. Yeah. I can't deal with it, and I feel completely off the entire summer until I can get back to where it flips forward again.
I have problems, and we've talked about this on here before. I have problems around the time change both ways. Just in general, usually a couple of weeks before and a couple of weeks after, like I have real problems. Yeah. This year, for some reason, it's continued. Like it started a lot earlier, and it's continued on through to where I'm like,
see, we made the time change this year, and within 3 days, I was like, I am back in my element.
Yeah.
I finally felt like I was back in the time that I'm supposed to be in. And for me, it getting dark early it's just almost soothing to me. It's like, I know I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to do some cooking. There's a good chance I may get the fire pit out and start a fire out in the yard.
I've thought about
and knowing it's going to be
right,
32 degrees outside, and I'm
right.
sitting around a fire out in the yard.
Yeah, I know, and the fire pit,
and the fact that air gets cool, and when it gets that real dry crisp,
yes,
that's when I feel the best.
And it's also this is going to just bear with me. I know this is odd. Okay. I know
you're an odd person, so yeah, we'll ride this train for a little bit.
Talking about that crisp air.
Yeah,
things look, feel, and smell.
No, you're absolutely correct
in that. And one of the things that I always notice is different whenever it gets dark earlier, and that crispness in the air happens. And this is going to be, I know you're going to be like, what? Police lights.
No, I think I completely understand where you're going with that.
There's something about like during the summer, like during the when it's kind of hazy and all that stuff. That like at nighttime, whenever you see a police car and they got their lights on, it's like, oh yeah, there's something.
But during the summer, there's like this haze.
There's kind of this haze
because you've got that humidity going during the summer,
and it's so weird, like to see those. Like last night, I was out and saw over here on Gallatin Road, I saw police lights coming.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that they were just jumping off the top of that police car.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was like, oh yeah, it's that time of
bright,
year. Yeah.
Crisp.
Right.
It's almost Christmas lights.
Right. Yeah. A lot of ways. And there's something about police, like the lights, the newer ones especially.
The LEDs.
That if I ever had a bar or a club or something like that, I would get those type of lights to go in there, to come on periodically or whatever.
Yeah.
There's something about it that just says, this is cool. I don't know. It's just it's odd. It's weird. Like I can't quite put my finger on it. Of like what is. And again, it was one of those things. It was when they changed to the LED lights when I really started to notice. I was like, man, those are just jump off of the whenever it's. And so I know it's an oddball thing, but it's one of those things that I associate with this time of year. It's so weird.
Well, we're a couple of weirdos.
Well, anyway, and as much as we love Halloween, my son, this year during Halloween over near my parents' house, there was a house like on the next street over that had a bunch of blow up, like like the outside, like the big. They had like a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and there was a dragon of some sort, and they had this spider. But one of the things they had was this big praying mantis that had like red eyes, and it was one of those things that it kind of had like a light in its belly, so you could like see the green, but then it had like lights in its eyes that were like these red, And at first, when we first saw it, I thought it was a Mothman. That was the first thing that went through my head. So I, said like,
well, you being the cryptoid that you are.
I know So it was one of those things that like that's what at first I told him it was a Mothman. So he kept going on and on and on about the Mothman.
Yeah.
And then we saw it like in the daylight, and it's like, oh, that's a praying mantis,
Yeah.
So now he goes back and forth between. He's always asking like, where's the Mothman? And I keep like, he flew back home. Like, where does he live? He'd be like, West Virginia. I was like, that's right, because I told him all where the Mothman lives in West Virginia, and then he keeps going on about the praying mantis, and I'm like, the praying mantis, he'll be back next year, but he keeps asking. He said something one day here recently. I was like, Halloween's over. He's like, no, Halloween's not over, and he just kept insisting that Halloween's not over. I'm like, buddy, you can have Halloween all year long. It's fine. It's like
Ministry says Halloween.
I know.
Is all year long.
I think I'm going to get tickets to that show. Ministry, and it's Ministry, Corrosion of Conformity, and who was the other band that was in there? It was like a really good lineup.
Was it like Self or something like that?
No, I forget. Oh, I have to look it up. But yeah,
I want to go.
Be here until March.
I don't know that I'm going to be able to get around the mask mandate.
It depends. Between now and March, though, I guarantee you that stuff, because we've had several venues that have pulled off of that stuff already around here.
I just don't know that I can afford tickets taking a chance.
They're not they're only like $45. They're not that expensive. Yeah, which I was really surprised
to not be able to get in. It's at the Ryman, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which is kind of an odd place to see Ministry play to begin with. You know, like I could see Ministry playing at like a big club. You know, like what we used to have, like a 328 type. Yeah, I think there's a couple places around. What's the place? Marathon Music Works.
Oh yeah,
that would be a great place to see for that concert. And when I saw that it was at
Ryman,
it was the Ryman. I was like, that's kind of an odd.
That might be kind of cool though.
It might be. I don't know, but I've never seen Ministry in concert.
I haven't.
So
either.
that's kind
I
of
don't
one
know.
of those.
Maybe I'll give you the money to get the tickets and we can go.
That was kind of one of those, like I've seen Corrosion to Conformity a few times, you know, open for other people.
Yeah.
But I've never seen Ministry. And who was there was another, I forget who it was. I'm not going to look it up right now, but it's a good lineup.
You keep talking, I'll look.
Yeah, it's a good lineup. But yeah, that all of that, it's an odd time of year because we're now, you know, we're post Christmas, or we're post Thanksgiving now, heading into Christmas, and like Christmas is really getting into full, you know. A friend of mine that I've known since like 6th grade, you know, she's one of the. Is it too early for me to put my Christmas tree out? You know, in like September, you know, and it's funny because she's tagged me several times here recently and stuff in Facebook, you know, on social media about, you know, are you okay with this? Are you okay? Because I'm always like, dude, just don't, you know, chill with the Christmas stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And I had to explain to her, I'm like, I don't hate Christmas at all.
No.
I just want Christmas to stay. The Melvins, that's who it was, right?
I've never seen the Melvins.
I haven't either.
So
that's another one. I was like, man, that is a good show. Ministry, the Melvins, and Corrosion of Conformity. That is a great show.
And that's like the week after my birthday.
I know.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that like she tagged me in this, and I kept trying to tell her, I'm like, I don't hate Christmas. I think Christmas is fine in its season.
Yeah.
I hate seeing Christmas stuff in September and October. And even early
July.
November.
I saw it in July this year.
I know. And it's one of those things that they keep trying to push it out earlier and earlier and earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, look, let Christmas live where it lives. Okay, let Halloween live where it lives. Let you know, Thanksgiving live
holidays
where it lives.
in order, please.
Exactly. You know,
I mean, there's 3 holidays after 4th of July before you get to Christmas.
You know, I brought up Party City earlier.
Yeah.
And you know. Again, 20 years ago, I was working at Party City. It was the one that was over here at Rivergate, which closed down last year.
Yeah.
The one that's over in Donaldson is still there. It's the same owners, you know, the family that owns both of them. And I saw 2 days ago. It's funny because like this girl Emmy, she was like 16 at the time that she was working there. Okay. And it's funny because she wound up marrying, like years later, she wound up marrying one of the owner's sons.
Oh, really?
And like, you know, it was kind of one of those things we were all kind of like watching them anyway. We were like, oh, okay, I think the countdown to 18 is on here, you know, type thing, you know. But it was just kind of one of those like, okay, but she posted something on Facebook that they had sold the store back to corporate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it said they had owned it for 22 years, you know, they had been in, you know, that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, well. And it was funny because like, and it was something I completely forgot about. You know, and of course I posted something I'm like, hey, you know, it's like, yeah, you know, hate to see that. You know, it's like I have a lot of really good memories around, you know, all that kind of stuff. And she was like, yeah, I know. And your favorite Party City song will always be Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne. And it made me remember, like, because that was like right when Avril Lavigne like hit, because that was like in 2002, and we had this piped in, you know,
the music.
Satellite. It wasn't Muzak, it was music.
Yeah.
And I did, like, working there, I discovered a lot of bands, like, artists that, like, I still listen to now. Like, the music from that I remember, like, hearing for that, like, that year that I worked, year and a half that I worked for them.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah. But I do remember, like, that becoming a thing during that time period. I hate Avril Lavigne. And I remember, like, every time that Skater Boy would come on, I would just like, oh, I hate this stupid song. You know? But I have not thought about that in close to 20 years, and but it's funny that she remembers that.
Evidently, your hatred of that song was memorable.
You know, it's
as it should be, really.
Yeah, well, you know, anybody that doesn't know who David Bowie is you remember that? Like when she became a thing, and they had her announcing the Grammy nominations, and she said David Bowie.
Yeah,
and it's just like, idiot, idiot. Kids have no sense of history whatsoever. So that's, you know, I'm learning that more and more with the millennials and the Gen X and whatever the next
Gen
ones-
X?
or not Gen, I mean Gen Y.
I was like,
and
you
the-
better
I'm sorry.
shut your mouth.
With millennials and Gen Y or Gen Z, excuse me, Gen
Zoomers.
Z, and then whatever,
Just call them Zoomers.
whatever the next one is, of they don't have any sense of history when it comes to music, like
Or
it's,
pop culture.
in a lot of ways. You know,
Yeah.
millennials are a little better with pop culture in general because they were raised on it, like even more than we were,
Yeah.
which is scary. But it's still one of those things where, you know, you'll start talking about certain things.
Yeah.
And, you know, music wise, and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, how do you not know David Bowie or you know,
Yeah.
something, you know? And it's one of those things, is like, ours, I think, was the last.
I kind of put that on us a little bit.
There is, and I
because
think-
we haven't
There's
we haven't trained them.
There's some of that, and some of it also is the fact their music sucks so bad. It's like,
Well, I'm starting early with my niece. She's only 2. She'll be 2.5. Call it 2.5.
that reminds me. Go ahead.
I've now given her Guns N' Roses T-shirt. She has.
You haven't given her the album.
No, not
As
yet.
much as I love Guns N' Roses, might be a little early for that.
No, not yet. She actually has a Metallica and Justice for All T-shirt. Last year for Christmas, I forget who the company is that makes the Little People. They actually put out like music groups in those Little People. And last year I gave her Kiss, and this year I gave her the Rolling Stones. So that's going to be. Yeah, I'm going to try to make sure that she knows good music. You've gone and got
Sorry,
something.
I had to go grab something because.
So yeah, I gave her the Rolling Stones Little People
Well, that's
set.
cool. That's cool. You know, it was funny when.
And what's funny is that Amazon lost the package.
Oh.
And we called them. It's like, hey, we didn't get our package. Where's our package? And they're like,
Nice.
don't worry about it. We'll send you another one.
Have you seen?
And then we had a package we didn't know show up at our house. We're like, what is this? Looked at the address, and it was the wrong address.
Uh-huh.
Well, we found out the address was in our neighborhood, so my wife went over to the house. It was like, hey, we got a package for you. She goes, hey, we got a package for you, and gave it. So we ended up with 2 packages of Little People Rolling Stones.
Oh, there you go. So one of them's at your house.
One's at my house with my Kiss Little People.
Right. When I got my last tattoo done on the day before Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, I was laying there. You know, I was in the chair. You know, Jason's working on me, and then one of the other guys that works in the shop was in there. We were talking about stuff.
Yeah.
Talking about the Stones. You know, how they like just recently announced that they weren't going to play Brown Sugar any longer. You know, in concert. And well, that song is highly problematic. It always has been. And it's one of those things that it was like I said something about. You know, it's funny that they just now decided to stop playing it since now. It's been 50 years. You know, I mean, it's like, because I think that album came out, like the one that's on it came out 71 or 72, so it's been about 50 years. You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember even as a teenager, like reading the lyrics and going, "Wow, I can't believe they're putting this out there." It's bad enough that they wrote it, but then to actually release it as a single and you know, type stuff. But you know, that again goes back to what I've said many times about if I stopped listening to the music made by creeps, I wouldn't listen to any music, or I wouldn't listen to any good music anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Yeah.
But okay, so.
What did you just run and go get?
I had to go get some vinyl that I picked up.
Ooh,
because
show and tell time. Turn a light on so we can see. So I can see what you're holding up here.
It's not like we're sitting in the dark here. It's just we don't have an
No,
extra
we're totally
light.
sitting in the dark. I haven't been able to look at him for like the last half hour. And really, who would want to?
Well, first off, I got this. Oh. Now, okay, this is all right for people who don't know. This is GNR Lies on vinyl, and the thing with it is that
It was evidently once owned by Roger.
Apparently Roger's a big jerk because the same. I saw a lot of albums that had Roger's name on the front of it. I owned a copy of that a few years ago before I purged my vinyl, and I had like the American quote unquote uncensored version of it.
Yeah.
Basically, what it is that like. The inside, you know, it's got, if you remember, it's got the woman, you know, who's topless, you know, but the thing is that in the American version, she's always had that bar across her breast, you know. In the European version, she doesn't. That one, though, is the censored version because of see down there at the bottom. No, on the front cover, where it says down in the left hand corner, it says lies, lies, lies.
Yeah.
Okay, that is the censored version. The original version, which is one that I had before, there's another headline there that says wife beating has been around since the beginning of time or something like that. So it was kind of one of those that they took. But yeah, it's a pretty good album. I mean, it's pretty well taken
as
care
big of
of
a tool as Roger is for writing his name huge all over everything.
I know.
He took really good care of the vinyl.
Roger had a lot of vinyl that wound up there, a lot of good vinyl that, when I passed on, not in that one, but just recently one that I passed on that I probably should have picked up, but I decided not to because it wasn't in the best of shape, and I'm also kind of like, I don't know if I really need it.
What was it?
It was a copy of Number of the Beast.
How do you not buy that album?
I know.
What is wrong with you?
That vinyl itself wasn't in the best of shape. I mean, it wasn't like massively scratched up, but it was not in the best of shape. And I was like, I kind of want this, but I'm not sure.
How much was it?
It was only like $15 or
Dude,
something. So
you should have totally
and
picked that
it was
up.
an original like pressing. It wasn't it wasn't a newer like the. I had a copy.
What was the name of it? What was the date on that for Number of the Beast? I forget. Something like that.
87 somewhere.
Yeah.
Around
there. I've got a copy of.
I picked up.
Dude, are you kidding me?
REM Green. Yes, and it's actually a really good copy of it as well.
Holy crap.
And and it's actually really, really well taken care of as well. So
this thing is well loved.
Yeah, look at the vinyl.
Give me a minute. I'm looking at how good the condition of the jacket is.
The only thing that's messed up is the inner sleeve. See, there's the original inner sleeve. You can see it looks like it's got some kind of it had some kind of water damage or something.
Yeah. Ooh, hold on. That's got mothballs on it.
Yeah, it could be.
Nice.
But there's another inner sleeve that was in there, so it's not actually doing anything to the vinyl itself.
Has this thing ever had a needle dropped on it?
I don't know. It doesn't look like it does.
This doesn't look like it was ever played.
I know. So.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm over here. This makes for really great radio.
I know it does.
Let me tell you,
it really does. So
should be doing this on a video. Good grief!
And the thing is,
I don't know how you find these things,
I just
man.
do. It's a lot of it is just persistence of stopping.
Was this McKay's or Great Escape?
Actually, that one's Great Escape. The Guns N' Roses, the GNR Lies was McKay's.
Yeah.
And the next one is also Great Escape.
Nice. I got to see if I can get this back in.
You remember a couple months ago I was out at McKay and I got that copy of Aladdin Sane.
Yes.
Because I don't. These days I don't buy a ton of vinyl. It's usually stuff like this that I'm like, oh no, this will be And like the thing is, I passed on a copy of Fables from the Reconstruction. REM.
Oh, really?
Because I'll be honest, prior to Green, I'm not a huge REM fan. Like some of the early stuff.
You don't like the early stuff?
Some of the early stuff.
There's no chance of you understanding what he's saying whatsoever?
Some of the early stuff I like, but it seems to be few and far between.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of like, like when you get into like Document and
that's a good album,
and Green and then especially once you get into the early '90s stuff, when you get into like Out of Time and Automatic for the People, that's more the REM that I'm really into.
Yeah, I can get that.
Don't get me wrong, like there is some of the stuff that they do.
This is really
don't just put. I'll put it in there. Yeah. I think you have to turn it the other way.
No, it's like it's getting caught on the
anyway. So here, I told I picked up that copy of Aladdin Sane, and I've kind of done this whole like, okay, I have a few people that I will make exceptions for, and Bowie being one of them.
Yeah, because you are the Bowie fan that you are. Except for
Bowie. I'm not a big fan of his version of Man Who Sold the World. I know I know that came up on a previous episode.
I'm still kind of frustrated about that,
but one of the songs by him I absolutely love is on this is on Diamond Dogs.
Dude, you got Diamond Dogs?
Yes, because Rebel's on that one. So I got that one with the Great Escape also. It's in not as great a shape as...
Okay, one corner has a small dent.
Yeah, well, I mean...
There's the bottom of the jacket has a little issue.
But by and large, I mean, the that's okay. The vinyl itself has got a few scratches here or there, I think. I don't have to go back.
Is this a first pressing?
I think so. What year is it? I don't get so much into the it's an original pressing. 74. Yeah.
This was owned by a radio station.
Yeah, I think this has.
You see the catalog number etched into the
I know.
center ring.
So every once in a while, I'll run across a.
Dude, side A looks pristine.
I know. So Bowie is.
I see it. I see what you're talking about.
Yeah,
right
there's
on the
there's a
very
little.
edge.
There's a little. It's not horrible. Like it's not going to do anything. I picked up a couple other things. Like I picked up. They had that double, like, the Elton John's Greatest Hits 1 and 2, that they had those together. And I picked up the Eagles One of These Nights, and a couple of things like that I'm like, yeah, these are albums that I love.
CPL 110576 8. Where's it a 5? Dude, this was
you were listening to Vinyl Talking.
this was a radio station that had this.
It probably
thing.
was. So. But yeah, these are kind of the things that I've been picking up here recently. What I was going to get to, you were talking about like the Kiss Little People.
Yeah.
One of the things, I don't know if you've gotten, you get these targeted ads on Facebook. One of the ones I keep getting is these Advent calendars. And one of them's Bowie, and one of them's Guns N' Roses, and there's the Stones, this kind of stuff. And they have all this like kind of cool stuff in there, but I'm like, nah, I'm good. Something else I did find here recently at Walmart.
Yeah.
They are selling, what do they call them? It's like vinyls. Basically, what it is it comes with a one of the pads that go on the turntable.
Slip disc.
The slip.
I've got one.
It comes with that, and it comes with a couple things. Here that kind of. But they have them. They have one that's Guns N' Roses branded. They have one that's David Bowie branded. And that kind of stuff. It's like, all right, this is kind of cool. Like, I'm going to wind up getting one of these, probably the Bowie, because it's got it's got my tattoo on it. For the
My wife during COVID ended up doing a trip to Charlotte, North Carolina, and she and a friend went into, I think it was Breadbox Music, which was a big vinyl store. She brought me home a branded slip pad for my record player from there. It's kind of cool.
Oh, you know what? There's one more. Hold on.
Oh, you found another vinyl?
Yeah, hold on.
All right, he's getting up from the table.
Sorry, I was like, I know there was another one that I got.
No, we've totally turned into vinyl geek talk here. Sorry, folks. It's infectious, actually. Would you? Oh, he's gone deep into the library. May have to do a little editing here.
Actually, I have two.
Oh, he found two.
And I'll talk about some others. I got a couple other.
Do I see Aerosmith Rocks in that?
No, you did not.
Okay.
I got a copy of Neil Young's Harvest.
Okay.
Which I love that. Talk about an album that sounds amazing on vinyl.
You've had like 2 or 3 copies.
I've had
of
that before, yeah. But that is one of those, like, Neil Young is an acquired taste. I mean, that is no ifs, ands, buts. But I did not like him that much in the very beginning. The more that I listened to him, like in the last 30-ish years, the more I'm like, dude, Neil Young's a genius. That's all it is to it.
I don't know about genius,
but
good songwriter. Yeah. Vocalist?
No, not a great vocalist. Great guitar player, though. I mean, dude, just. I love the fact he attacks the guitar more than he plays it. He just like attacks it. But that Harvest album is made for vinyl.
Yeah.
I also picked up Eagles Greatest Hits Volume 1.
Yeah. You always pick that one up. You also usually pick up Hotel California.
I've got Hotel California, and I've got One of These Nights because I like both of those albums. I'm looking for a copy of Desperado because that album's amazing from beginning to end.
Do me a favor. If you run across a copy of Eagles Greatest Hits Volume 1, the one that's got the cow skull on it,
right,
grab it for me.
Okay, that's what I picked up. And the thing is, I picked it up because it's not in the best of shape,
Yeah.
But it was only like $5.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, when I say it's not in the best of shape, I mean, like, it's got a few scratches on it, but it's not like super scratched or anything.
That's my favorite greatest hits album.
Well, it's one of the best selling albums of all time, you know. But one thing that I found, it's an odd one. Look at this.
It's the Elvira album.
The Elvira album, yes. Again, I didn't pay like maybe $3 or $4 for it or something, and it's in really good shape.
That's like a B-.
Yeah. I mean, the vinyl itself is in good shape.
Maybe
though.
a C+ on the jacket.
It's fun to look at, what's on there, because it's it's a lot of like
Elvira's theme, Monster Bash by Bobby Boris
right.
Pickett.
It's original
Jumpin'
stuff.
Gene Simmons.
Yeah, with
the Comatines with the Munsters, the Bullock Brothers, Sheb Woolley, the Shags.
Yep.
Neil Norman and his Cosmic Orchestra. Oh, Twilight Zone. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Jim Parker, the Challengers, Dickie Goodman, Red Lipstick, and then Elvira's theme again.
Yeah. So and that was kind of one of those like, this will be cool to have,
special thanks to Dr. Demento.
Yeah. So,
nice.
And that was kind of one of those. They had a copy. This was out at McKay. Okay,
you may have to do me a digital version of this.
They had a copy of a really nice copy of the Little Shop of Horrors soundtrack.
Oh, really?
And I love that movie.
'Cause I'm a day.
I know, and I love that movie and the music in that movie. But what they were asking for it, I could not bring myself because McKay is expensive.
$60.
It wasn't quite that much, but it was in the $45 to $50 range somewhere. However, I did pick this up again because it was one of the ones that I got rid of. It has been my white whale forever, and I've owned a couple of copies of it on vinyl now, and will probably always have a copy of it on vinyl.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson's Thriller.
I nearly. Do you know how close I came to cutting you when I found out that you had let this go, and I didn't get it?
Yeah, that's again going back to the whole creep.
The first time I ever heard this album was on vinyl.
Yeah.
And dude,
well, I remember going to the skating rink and hearing and stuff, and all that was on vinyl back then.
We were living in Michigan at the time, and a guy that Dad worked with had invited us over to hang out with his family, and it was middle of winter, and we were sledding and all that, and we went into the house to get warm and drink hot chocolate and all that, and he goes, "Hey kids, check out this album I just got." Of course, his kids already knew what he was pulling out.
Right,
we were like, "Whoa!"
Yeah. That's so. I want to get another copy of Off the Wall as well, because that's
if you see another copy of that out somewhere, and it's
it's so funny because I got this one at the Great Escape, and it was, I don't think I only paid like $20 for it or something.
If you see one that's like 30 or less, and in pretty good condition, if you'll grab one for me.
But the thing is, I saw one a few months ago out at McKay, and they were asking like $50 for it.
No,
it was like, and it wasn't as good a shape as it. And that's one of those things, like, McKay kills me because I'll go out there and I'll see something, I'm like, but then I'm like, I'm not paying that for it.
No,
I am not paying that for it. Like, I did buy that Guns N' Roses because I knew that's going to be a tough one to find.
Yeah,
I bought that Aladdin Sane because I was like, this is a really tough one to find.
Yeah,
and they may not be so tough, but they're not stuff that you
it's
run
not like you couldn't hop on Discogs and find
or something.
Copy
And
somewhere.
it's there's plenty of I could go to Grimey's or any or Phonolux or any number of places around and find copies of them, but I just when you run across them, they're usually kind of pricey, and and sometimes the quality is not that great, and that was the whole thing with the Aladdin Sane was that like it was a radio station copy because it had the sticker on the front, it had all the and I don't think it had the actual like embossed for promotional use only, but it was definitely a radio station copy, but it was in good shape. So I was like, all right, I love you again. I've got that lightning bolt tattoo, and I love Bowie, so I was like, yeah, this is the one I'm going to get. I've got that. I've got a copy of Ziggy Stardust. Now I've got a copy of Diamond Dogs, and I'm kind of like, where do I draw the line? I used to have a copy of Let's Dance, and I run across that one every once in a while. And of course, that one's got Let's Dance and Modern Love and China Girl. It's like it's a good solid album, but I don't really think of it as a vinyl album, though.
It kind of walks that line because
That's
it was
a cassette album, is what that is.
Yeah, it was kind of in
For
between
those of you who
that
don't
era.
understand what I'm talking about, is that in my mind, again, this is going back to my weird. I associate certain albums with certain things. Okay, there are albums like Hotel California.
Yeah, that's vinyl.
I had it on vinyl.
Had it on 8-track.
Then I had it. I never had it on 8-track, but I had it on vinyl.
Oh, you never had it on 8-track?
I had it on cassette. Then I had it on CD. Then I had a digital. I still have a digital copy in my iTunes. And then I went back to vinyl again. So that one kind of lives on all of those formats for me. Thriller, I never owned, so it kind of is nebulous, you know. Appetite for Destruction is a cassette album for me. Yeah, because I had that on cassette for the longest time, and then I had it on CD, and then type stuff. But it's kind of one of those things for me. There are multiple where I go across.
It's the aesthetic,
right?
Thriller for me was a vinyl album first, and then it was a cassette because I never owned the vinyl. Right, I owned the cassette. I heard it first on vinyl. But I had it on cassette, and there's something about that Dolby 2 tape.
Oh yeah. I know. And so there's kind of that whole. I have weird associations with stuff like that. So.
For me, almost anything from like 80 to like 84 could be vinyl or cassette tape, or even 8-track.
It's stuff in the 70s, because we're old enough to remember part of the 70s at least, and we did have we had a record. We had a record player. Our parents
had a huge record collection.
My parents had one of those big stereos that weighed like 500 pounds.
Oh no, the one that acts like a buffet, because my in-laws still have that thing. It's a buffet, and it's got the record player with the radio on it.
The other,
And when we get to their house for Christmas, I insist that that's what we turn on.
Right.
And we turn it on to the station here in town that does Christmas music from right now until.
You know what I always associate that with?
What's that?
The Chipmunks Christmas albums, because that's what I listened to all of those on, was that big huge stereo system that sat there.
Believe me, we would be listening to Christmas records on that thing, but the needle arm is so messed up. It's not worth trying to do it. So we just listen to that radio station. It has that warm, fuzzy.
Oh yeah, it definitely has
tube.
Yeah, the one that we had stopped working a long time ago, and I remember like trying to move that thing out of the house. Yeah. And I mean, it was, dude, that thing was heavy.
Yep.
It's kind of like we had this television for the longest time, and it was like, it might have been 19-inch or something, I mean, that, it might have been 24-inch. I don't know. At the most, of course it was the big CRT, and it was it was a cabinet.
Yeah. It was a wood television cabinet.
That was, and I remember thankfully that thing was on wheels. And so we can move it, but it was still one of those things like when we had to finally get rid of it. Yeah, getting it on the truck was a problem because it weighed so much. Yeah, just like
I knew I had several friends that had like the TV on one end with the stereo on the other.
Oh yeah,
and they figured out how to get the TV out into the speakers for the
right.
It was the home entertainment center. It would take up a whole friggin' wall in the living room.
It's so funny to see some of that stuff now and think about, wow, we used to think this was a big television, that like this was a,
Well, at one point I found a set of end tables for like the end of a couch at a garage sale, and I got to looking at them.
Right.
And they were actually stereo speakers, and they were end tables, and I was like,
oh,
dude, I gotta have these.
My aunt and uncle had a set of those. Yeah. I've got that. I know you've seen it. I might have to take a picture of it and put it up on Instagram for people. I've got that old television cabinet that somebody had gone in and taken all the insides out of it and basically made it into a gaming rack. Like you can put all your they went on the inside where the screen would be. Took all the insides out. And they put shelves in there so you can, and so it's one of those things where you can put so I have my Nintendo and my Atari 2600 both in there, and then I've got a giant CRT sitting on top of it to play those games. So.
Yeah, because you got to have a CRT to play those games,
especially
unless you can find one of the older flat screens that actually have the cable input on them.
The problem is there's a latency issue there.
Yeah,
and also you cannot play any of the light gun games on a flat screen.
That's true.
Because you have to have the CRT for it to work. which is something that a lot of people found out the hard way. And
yeah. And by the way, that second controller in the NES does control the duck.
Control the duck. Yes, it does. So, there was something else I was. You brought up Yellowstone earlier.
Yeah.
Dave and I are both big Yellowstone fans, and it's back for season 4.
Season 4.
They're what, 4 episodes in now? Is it 4? I think.
I think number 4 is tonight. I think.
No, 5's
tonight. No, you're right.
Because there was 2 the first.
They did 2 episodes.
The first.
Yeah, they did a double episode the first night.
Yeah, and then this is week 4. And how do you feel about the season so far?
There's nothing about this show I don't love.
Okay, all right.
Are you having problems?
I'm not having problems with anything. Maybe it's because I watched the first 3 seasons back to back. Of watching. So it was one of those things that everything was still fresh. And,
I've been with it.
I haven't been with it since day one. I wound up when I got Peacock last year. It's on. The first 3 seasons were all on there. Yeah. And so whenever it was like, so 4 finally came back this year, and or in this month, I should say. And I've enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. They really, what's the youngest son's name?
Casey.
Casey and his family. They really. I know this last episode they dealt with them more, but those first 3 episodes, they pretty much wrote them out of the show for the most part.
Well, that was a major cliffhanger. Everybody was going, "Where are they? Where are they?"
Yeah, we got that in the first episode though, because they were back on the ranch, and when they were attacked, of course, spoilers here, the son wound up saving his mom, but he's having serious PTSD issues now, but they really did kind of like write them out. It's like we saw that, and then we saw like a little snippet of the kids like hiding under the bed all the time, and that's pretty much it, and they've kind of same thing with. I've got
a feeling that's going to be coming to a head.
They really just got back into Jamie this last week. Also, they've you've been getting little snippets of him. He bought himself a place, and of course his biological father's hanging out with him. And so it's.
You saw the end of the last episode, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be ugly.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm just waiting for Beth to.
and actually,
I am always just waiting for Beth to
go off.
She's like, here she goes. She's getting ready to burn the entire place down.
Yeah. I'm not so much excited about the prequel spinoff, because it's Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. I was like, couldn't you? Come on, couldn't you have done better than that?
I liked that little in the first episode where you got that look back.
Yeah.
That little one little segment or whatever. I was like, okay, this is cool. I could deal with this if they wanted to have like a parallel storyline going where they're going back and like every few episodes or maybe every episode you get like a segment whether they're showing. But I don't think a whole episode.
You mean a season? A whole new show?
A whole new show.
I think a whole new show would be great, but I don't like Tim and Faith as the main characters in that. They could have found much better actors to do that.
I've seen Tim McGraw and stuff before, and he's okay. I don't think I've ever seen her act in anything. I know she was in the Stepford Wives or something. But
and the thing about it is I'm going to watch it, and there's only one actor that I'm going to watch it for.
Okay.
Sam Elliott.
Yes. Well, that makes sense.
I don't care.
Put Sam Elliott in something. It's probably going to be
the whole thing could suck completely. But if Sam Elliott's in it, I'm going to watch it.
There are certain actors.
To prove you that I'll watch anything as long as it's got Sam Elliott in, I've seen every episode of The Ranch.
Okay. I heard good things about The Ranch. It
was okay.
Yeah. It's Ashton Kutcher, he's funny.
He's hysterical.
I know they wrote Danny Masterson off of it after all that.
No, they didn't just write him off of it. They sent him off of it on a rocket.
Yeah.
They ran him off the side of a mountain on a motorcycle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know they did that. The other, I was telling Dave before we started recording that because it's still ongoing. And it's one of those things. It's weekly, so only the first 5 episodes are available right now. But on HBO Max or on HBO, they have a new show called The Sex Lives of College Girls. And when I first saw like the little thing come up on HBO Max, I'm like, what are they doing here? Like,
I saw that and I was like, nope,
Yeah.
nope.
So the other night,
it's not worth me living on the couch to watch his show. I'm not doing it.
I've watched. I'm caught up on it now, and I absolutely love this show because it's hilarious. I mean, it is hilarious, and it's not as titillating as you would think it is. I mean, it's like, yeah, there's some nudity, but it's not like what you would normally get on an HBO show. Like, it's not nowhere near like Game of Thrones level, sex and nudity type stuff. It's there's a couple little things here and there, a lot of butts more than anything,
Okay.
But it's really funny, and it hits in my wheelhouse of the teen comedy, type stuff that I love so much.
Because you have not matured past that.
No, I never will.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, Riverdale's great this season.
I haven't caught up yet. I need to catch up.
Yeah,
we haven't finished
last season yet. This season so far is a whole different thing. That it's kind of like in a pocket universe of some sort.
Yeah,
we haven't quite said what's going on yet, but we do know because I showed Dave the trailer for the 5-episode event, as they're calling it, and at the very end of it, Sabrina the Teenage Witch shows up, and Dave was like, "Oh, yeah." I was like, I knew that was going to get you if you hadn't seen this already. So.
Oh yeah. Now there's actually 2 spinoffs from Yellowstone. The second one is actually following what's his name, the kid that was doing the rodeo stuff. Jimmy.
Oh, see, I didn't know there was a spinoff on that.
So that whole thing of him going to the 4 Sixes ranch is about to be another spinoff called the 4 Sixes.
I kind of wonder what they're going to do there.
And that's an actual ranch in Texas. So
I wondered what they were going to do there. Like, I didn't know there was another spinoff coming. So that's why I was kind of like, are they going to follow this? Are they going to have like 2 storylines going on in 2 different places?
No, that's going to be a completely different show. And I've got a feeling that's going to be a pretty good one also.
Yeah, Jimmy is a character that I both like and dislike at the same time.
He's totally a stray.
Yeah.
That they're trying to make a man out of.
I know, and it's kind of a... when he got into all the rodeo stuff and he was, doing well, I was like, oh yeah, I'm on board with this guy. And then it happened the way that John Dutton told him was going to happen.
Yeah.
And he winds up in hospital and rehab and everything. And it's you feel sorry for him because he found something that he
was really good at
and loved on top of it. And they had there was that whole conversation with him and the guy from the horse guy. I can't remember his name. In this last episode, where he asked him, why were you doing it? Why, when you were doing rodeo, what was it? And he said, well, I like the crowd and the thing. He goes, man, if you're not doing it for the horse, you're not doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
It's kind of and he admitted he's kind of scared of horses. He's like, well, then you're never going to be successful if you're scared of the horses.
Yeah.
You're always going to be fighting a losing battle. And I was like, all right, that was a nice little, because that dude could be a complete ass.
No,
but it was this
well, he knows what caliber cowboy he is.
Exactly.
And he knows his business.
Right.
And because of that, he's way overconfident.
Right.
But at the same time, I think he kind of has a little bit of a place in his heart for Jimmy is going, he's on the rope or on the, the edge with this kid about which way is he going to go.
Right. Of course, he also is not involved, or he's not from that ranch, though,
no.
right? Yeah, and so it's...
No, he was just doing Dutton a favor by dropping him
off. And so, yeah, it's...
And he was doing okay till he got out of the truck. He's like... They said to meet him out back by the well, which way is that?
He goes, well, if we're in the front, where do you think the back is?
Yeah. I like Jimmy, but he's a little dense.
He is a little... He's more than a little dense. And of course, they've kind of already replaced him with that kid, that I don't know how I feel. I liked him initially.
I don't think that's a replacement. I think that is, I totally think that is Rip getting ready to raise his younger self.
That whole, because the whole thing is that, of course, welcome to Yellowstone Talk.
You got Vital Hour.
Yeah.
And now you get Yellowstone Talk.
With Beth, whenever he came, and he's like, who is that? And she's like, I think that's our kid.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, but also with what she had to deal with.
Yeah.
With
she was like, nope.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I love that. The first of it, he goes, he's like, you and me, Rip telling him, we're going to talk later. And he's like, is he, and John asked him, he's like, is he in trouble? He's like, yeah, you really pissed your daughter off. He's like, oh, he's in trouble.
He goes, yeah, he's in trouble.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, you don't cross Beth.
No, you do not cross. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with her and her ex-boss, because that's you're getting ready to see the hammer dropped on somebody. And
yep.
I mean, that is what do you think about the new villain this season?
She reminds me of the psychic from Poltergeist.
Yeah, the voice, most definitely. I'm trying to figure out if I like her or not.
No, I don't like her at all.
Because
I think she is going to bring out the absolute worst in Beth.
Oh, absolutely.
Beth is going to end up winning that
first
thing.
off, she went after, what's his name? Is it Proud? The head of the reservation.
I can't remember his name.
It's not Proud. It's not Proud Star.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but she initially went after them first.
Yeah.
And I've grown to like him a lot over the seasons.
Yeah. I actually like his right-hand man better.
Yeah, both of them actually.
Yeah.
And it's kind of them talking about, like, we'll see what she has to say, but very much keeping her at arm's length of.
Yeah.
The relationship with them and the Yellowstone has grown a lot over these seasons. It's not as contemptuous as it was.
It's the enemy of my enemy.
Yeah. When they were in that meeting last season, and he came in with his lawyer, and she basically said, "Oh yeah, we're going to keep you locked up in environmental court, for a decade, if you're type stuff." I mean, it was just like, wow, they literally just dropped the hammer on him right here. And I hated to see Josh Holloway, Sawyer from Lost. I hated to see him leave the show because I thought he was really good in that role.
No, he was too weak of a character.
You think so?
He was a tool for that company.
Absolutely.
He was nothing more than a gun for them to pull the trigger on. And I think getting a rattlesnake to the face
was a pretty good way out.
Yeah.
A good send off. I know. I guess because I've always liked Josh Holloway.
A snake for a snake.
Yeah, and he very much was a snake.
Yeah.
I mean, it was he had that.
The fact that he let
smile and that charm and everything, but he's putting a knife in your back the entire time.
The second Beth bought up all the company and shorted him, I knew he was dead.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of whether it was his boss that was going to kill him or somebody from the ranch.
Yeah. This whole other finding out who and why, finding out who set up the assassination attempts.
Yes.
And the why is coming. We know why, but I guess it's more of the how.
No, we know
the who.
We know who and the how.
Yeah,
and it was revealed at the end of the episode last week.
Right. And so it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays. I hate the fact that it's only 10 episodes or something like that.
I'm actually happy that it's 10 episodes because a lot of these streaming services are only doing 8 episodes. Well, I'm like, this is not enough.
The thing with that, I am actually a big fan of that in some ways, and I hate it because you only get 10 episodes. I like it that they're not doing 13 or whatever because most times, especially on the streaming services, when they put out 13 episodes, there's probably 3 episodes that could have been absorbed into some of the other ones. They're really filler more than anything.
I need 13 or 14 episodes that are of the same quality.
But you almost never get that, though. I mean, there's always those padding episodes in there. And I know we've gone around and around on this before. The Marvel, the Netflix Marvel series were the world's worst about that.
Come on.
They were.
No, I fully disagree.
There was especially the Jessica Jones stuff where it was like, man, I love that character. I love all 3 of those seasons, but they could have been 2 or 3 episodes shorter.
No, because you had to show her in her mundane. You had to show her in her manic. You had to show her in the...
But all that could have been done inside the episodes rather than having whole episodes that are just kind of like filler.
I fully disagree.
Speaking of, I know Hawkeye just dropped. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
We've already watched the first 2 episodes. It's really good.
Looking forward to that. And also, have you watched The Great?
The what?
The Great on Hulu.
No, I don't. We don't have Hulu.
Elle Fanning, and she plays Catherine the Great.
Okay.
And the second season just dropped, and that show is amazing. I watched the first season when it was on almost 2 years ago now, and absolutely fell in love with it. So the second season coming up, I'm like, oh, I can't wait for this because it's really good. So it was one of those that at first I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this or not, but I was like, I'll give it an episode and see. And then I was hooked. I was like, oh no, this show's great.
Everybody keeps telling me I need to get Hulu because they want me to watch Dope Sick, and I'm like, I don't really need to see that.
You know, I had Hulu for a while, and I would find that there was a few things like The Great would come on there, and there was a couple things here and there, but I really just wound up using it to catch up on the shows that I didn't watch on network television the night before or whatever. That's where I was catching up on like the Goldbergs and the Connors or whatever it was that I was watching at the time.
But every channel has its own streaming service now, and Hulu.
And also
I've got a feeling Hulu's not going to make it.
I've got YouTube TV, and so all that stuff's on demand as well. So all I got to do is just wait till the next day and I can go watch it. So yeah, it's just kind of one of those like Hulu went by the wayside, just like all right. It was same time I got rid of Disney Plus and all that. So
we still have Disney Plus because we.
What's
a lot of it is we also have it because our niece
I get
has
and
a login.
That's one of those. If Xander watched more Disney stuff, I probably would have kept it around, because I'm always looking forward to the Mandalorian or the Marvel stuff.
Yeah,
but honestly, I got rid of it because of personal convictions, I should say. I don't like some of Disney's practices that they.
Oh, I don't either.
And and it's kind of one of those.
Unfortunately, they have the drug I use.
Well, I got rid of them. I got rid of Netflix again for personal, convictions, and there's a few other things that, I've always said that more than anything else, especially when it comes to those types of situations, you vote with your dollars.
Yeah.
And so I chose not to give certain companies my money.
No, I respect
because
that.
of, and it's one of those things that, who knows, maybe somewhere down the line I'll go back to them if, for whatever. You just never know. But it's one of those, right now I'm fine in my convictions of not giving them my money.
I completely respect that.
And it's just kind of one of those.
I have an addiction. I admit it.
That's fine. And also the fact that Disney Plus was like, the stuff I wanted to see was so spread out.
Yeah.
Now I know that this year, especially when we got WandaVision and then Falcon and Winter Soldier and then Loki, like right on top of each other. And then What If turned out to not be as good as I was hoping it would be.
It was okay.
It was okay. Great. I know. And so now with Hawkeye coming back around, I'm like, okay, this is something I want to watch again.
Hawkeye was so good. That's going to be such a good show.
So that Netflix was the same way for the longest time too. I had it mainly for its catalog.
Yeah.
There were a few things here and there but Netflix hasn't had a new show that I've just really been into in a while.
You didn't watch Squid Game, did you?
No.
I got hooked on that.
No,
that was
I'm
actually
good.
Decent.
I'm good. That's no. I know the premise of it, and it's like it's an interesting premise, but I just don't think that I would watch that. So.
I didn't think either, and everybody's talking about it. It's like, okay, I'll watch the first episode. Okay, I'll watch this. What time is it?
Yeah.
Oh crap! I've watched this whole
I know.
thing.
Believe me, I've done that plenty of times. As I did the other night with the sex lives of college girls. Like there was 5 episodes. I wound up watching all of them back to back to back. Just like, wow, okay, this is really good. Now I got to wait till Thursday for the next one.
Okay.
So.
That's the other thing that annoys me about the streaming services,
where they started distributing them weekly.
Yeah, I was like, there was a reason why I came to you and left cable.
Yeah,
because I could get my entire season dropped at once.
Well, but
so
they found out that people were watching all of them and then not coming back, and that was kind of okay. Well, let's and Disney's done that since day one.
Yeah,
they haven't just done like the big drop. Hulu was probably the first ones to really start doing that.
That was Netflix.
Was it Netflix?
It was Netflix because Hulu, even with their original programming, was doing them a week at a time.
Well, they're still doing it. Like the Great dropped all the episodes the other day.
Well, they got that from Netflix.
Yeah.
So
But they have, with some of their shows, they have done the space them out.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah. Well.
See, Disney, if they would, they're dropping them a episode at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But they're doing it right because you get like 2 weeks off and then they release the new show.
Right.
It was like, oh, I guess I'll hang around for this. And then 2 weeks later, it's like, okay, here's the new show.
Mm-hmm.
I almost canceled it with What If.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need this. I can wait until after, I can wait for The Mandalorian or the Book of Boba Fett or...
What If just didn't... I would... Especially it being animated, I thought it had a shot to be something decent.
No, they didn't do it right.
And then I just didn't find... Because I always liked that comic book when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I would pick up, a copy. Because there was always something interesting, what if, what if Jean Grey hadn't, or the Phoenix hadn't died, or what if, whatever, what if Wolverine led the X-Men?
They just didn't handle it right. Yeah, they didn't do it right.
and it really... Well, one of the things that they would do in the What If comics is that they wouldn't just go with one story. Like if they had what if Uncle Ben didn't die,
Yeah.
And they would go through several scenarios inside that comic book where you would get like 2 or 3 stories of, hey, it could have happened this way, it could happen this way, it could happen this way. It's kind of one of those things. This is just like, here it is. And it's like, okay, but it kind of has that same problem that a lot of the new stuff has, where really and truly it's just a palette swap is all it is, where it's like, okay, what if Peggy Carter became Captain America?
Yeah.
I enjoyed that episode
quite a bit. It was a good episode, yeah.
But really and truly all it was all right, how do we get a female Captain America in here?
Yeah.
I liked what they did with it, but it was obvious that it was just a palette swap of... they could have done any number of things there. That they could have been, it could have been one of those things where they did like, what if Steve Rogers didn't become Captain America?
Right.
Like that whole thing got destroyed. Nobody became Captain America.
What if Deadpool is actually Spider-Man?
Yeah, whatever. It's same, same color scheme and everything. I mean, it could have been any number of things like that. But it is what it is. I'm not going to complain about it. I did see Ghostbusters Afterlife.
See,
I know you haven't, so I'm not going to...
I can't... It's hard for me to get to the theater.
I really enjoyed it. It had just the right amount of nostalgia to it.
I need to see that one. I need to see Soho. I need to see Antlers. I need to see what just dropped. Matrix is just dropping.
Oh, it's coming out at Christmas.
Yeah.
That's going to be on HBO as well.
Matrix. I'm going to the theater for that one.
Oh, how was Dune? We didn't get around to that. So
I really, really loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And I also hated it.
I have heard people who've read the book.
No. It has nothing to do with that.
Are on the fence about. Some of them are like, I really love this, but
okay. I'm going to do spoilers here.
Right.
So if you haven't seen,
I'm never going to watch.
If you have not seen the new Dune, shut the podcast off right now until you see it.
Yeah.
The visuals are absolutely amazing. The audio is absolutely amazing. I love everything about the way that this thing was done. And then what I'm really, really angry about is because they were advertising Dune. You're getting the movie Dune.
Now it's a setup for a second one.
And then the title screen comes on and it goes, Dune Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they didn't say that up front. They did not.
Thinking that maybe they've done it like two chapters.
Right, right.
No, we get to the end of it, and where they stopped is half.
Yeah,
they stopped at half.
Yeah,
and then I get to researching. Is like, why did we get credits here? What's going on? And so I hopped online and I started looking. It's like, oh yeah, they're waiting to see how it's going to do to see whether or not they're going to greenlight Dune 2.
Right.
What do you mean they haven't greenlit Dune? You don't make Dune 1 and not greenlight Dune 2 automatically.
Yeah, well, in this day and time, you do. Apparently.
Oh, I'm so angry.
Are you familiar with Chris Gore? You know what I'm talking about? It's filmthreat.com.
I think I've heard you talk about him.
He used to be on Attack of the Show. He's been on a bunch. He used to be on MTV like back years ago. I mean, he's one of those guys that's been around for like since the early. He's around our age,
Yeah.
Always did. He's always been involved with like film criticism and stuff like that. And he's pretty fair about it.
Okay.
I watched this thing last night. It was called. It's like 2 hours of him talking. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's done. It's like 3 different interviews. You can tell because he's wearing different clothing in
Yeah.
each of them. It's called
Costume Change.
Well, you can also tell that they were done at a different time.
Yeah.
Because let's see if I can find it. I watched it last night. And it was kind of one of those things that was kind of on in the background because it's just him talking. I mean, it could have easily been a podcast.
Blah,
or something.
blah, 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 blah.
Film Courage is the name of the YouTube channel.
Okay.
And let me see if I can find it. It dropped and they had a whole bunch of different people, like different writers and producers and stuff, talking about different stuff. But it was basically him for 2 hours complaining about the state of the movies,
Yeah.
And he wasn't wrong about any of it. Now, his go-to was always Star Wars. I mean, he really hates the new Star Wars movies, and
It sounds like I need to subscribe to this channel.
and a lot of other stuff. And he kept talking about, like, this is what Hollywood keeps getting wrong. Not just with Star Wars, but with a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed listening to it, even though some of it he did kind of retread every once in a while because it was like I said, it was 3 different interviews, and sometimes he would kind of go back to the same things over again.
Kind of like Tim Pool.
Hey, yeah. Not quite as bad as Tim Pool. Believe me, if you know Tim Pool, if you listen to him, you probably know the drinking games by now. There are certain things that when he says it, you take a shot, and believe me, you're going to be wasted every episode because it always comes up.
What was the How I Met Your Mother, that type of situation, the drinking game with Robin?
Oh yeah, every day.
Well, oh no, she's hijacked the game.
We got a drink. It's like yeah, but yeah, it's like I said, it's like 2 hours of him like just kind of ranting about reboots and how the basic core of it is him just kind of, you can tell this is somebody who really loves these franchises that he's talking about.
Yeah.
And it really bothers him the way that Hollywood doesn't have that type of love.
Doesn't have that love or respect
exactly
for
and they just
a franchise
just
or a property.
Right. And that's one of the things like with Dune, it is one of those where was anybody really asking for a Dune reboot? I mean,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, they were, because that early 80s Dune, well, I know there's a lot of people that really love that. It is so no.
Yeah, I know.
Just no.
Same way I feel about Blade Runner. So, Dune and Blade Runner are both in that basket for me of like I don't see that. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
I like Blade Runner. I even like the second one that they did.
I find them boring and unwatchable. So
I liked Blade Runner.
But yeah. So in Dune,
but then again,
the people that I know who
you can't trust his taste.
Yeah,
this is the man who also hates Godfather.
I did not say I hate The Godfather. I just said that it is not one of my favorite movies.
Like I said, he said he hates Godfather.
It's overrated.
See, he hates it. He hates it.
I will fully admit that The Godfather did a lot for the movies that I do love, that you probably would not have had those movies if it hadn't been for The Godfather. But I just don't care much for The Godfather.
See, so. he unopposedly admits that he hates The Godfather.
It's just up its own ass, like most stuff from the 70s.
Hey. Oh, hey.
So, I mean, we're not quite into, Midsommar here or anything. I mean, that movie is so far up its own ass.
Trash. What a piece of garbage.
Did you listen to the new Gen X Grown Up?
No, I haven't.
They read my letter. They read my email.
Oh, did they? I need to go back and catch up. It's been kind of busy. It's always busy at work at this point. There's no breaks.
So,
but what a garbage movie.
I hate that movie, man. That movie is so fun. That one and what was that other one?
It irritates me that
The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse is another one of those movies that is so far up its own butt. It's just like, oh my god, man, this is ridiculous.
But the fact that I know millennials that go, oh,
I know,
Midsommar, it's such a great movie. It's like
not. It's long and boring.
what?
I know.
It throws me into conniptions.
I could have taken that movie and edited a good 45 minutes out of it and made it a very concise, good movie. So it's
get me a digital copy, I'll make it happen tomorrow. Don't think I won't.
Yeah.
I can drop that thing in Premiere and cut that thing down to 15 minutes.
It is such. Yeah. Anyway, so and again, going back, I've said this before. I love Frances Pugh. I will watch her in just about anything, and I did. I watched her in Midsommar, and just like, oh God, what is going on here? Just why am I watching this? It's like we were talking about. On that note, though, talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife. I really enjoyed that movie, but I knew they were bringing back the original cast, for this and that and everything. I did not know that Carrie Coons was in the movie, and I didn't know that she was in it. Like, I knew Paul Rudd was, but I had not seen her in any of the in the advertisement, or that I did not recognize. Okay. And I love Carrie Coons. Yeah, I mean, she's another one of those. You put her in a movie, she's going to be one of the best things in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, like, it doesn't matter how garbage the movie is, she's going to shine. Yeah. And I was just like, yes, we should put Carrie Coons in everything. Like, she should just...
With Sam Elliott.
Yeah. Hey, put Paul Rudd in everything, too. Like, put the two of them. They're great in this movie together, So, but anyway, we're at almost an hour and a half now. We didn't think that we were going to have anything to talk about.
We really did. We just kind of rambled through the hour.
The coffee kicked in at some point, and I'm just like...
Sorry, guys. We've still got the food coma hanging around from Thanksgiving.
Oh, man. This year has flown by. Like, I cannot believe that we're less than...
It has flown, and at the same time...
As we are recording this, we are 27 days from Christmas, okay? Which means when this drops, we will be 26 days from Christmas. Yeah. We will also be 344 days from Halloween, because I looked at it on the calendar before.
Nice. Nice. There's an app for that.
I know, but I've got a calendar that's got it all.
Yeah.
It's funny. I don't know if I've told you this, but I got that Halloween all year round.
Yeah.
What's funny, the only holiday that's on that calendar is Halloween. Like, none of the rest of them are on there.
That's because it's the only...
None of them are on there. I mean, like, it doesn't have Christmas marked. It doesn't have 4th of July. Nothing is marked on there. It just, at the bottom, it just says how many days till Halloween. That's all it is.
As it should be.
Yeah, I'm there with it. And like I said from the conversation earlier, my son is down with it. Apparently, he wants it to be Halloween all the time. So
yes,
he's my boy. So, guys, thank you so much. We're going to be back with some more concise episodes here in a little bit.
Maybe.
We'll
see what happens.
Holidays are kind of weird. We try our best to keep on a regular schedule, but it doesn't always
holiday
work out.
Events and end of class damage
and just, like, I traveled for Thanksgiving, this year.
Oh, Alabama.
Yeah, I went to Alabama for the day.
Nice.
And that was nice. I mean, it was only a day, but still, it's one of those things that any kind of travel it takes it out of you.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. I don't know what's going on. I think
I'm lucky enough that I've got everybody here in Middle Tennessee.
We generally do every other year, but my mom has had a doctor's appointment on Wednesday, and so it was kind of one of those things where them coming up here wasn't really feasible with her. She's had several doctor's appointments here recently, and so it was kind of one of those. We'll go down there for Thanksgiving, but they're coming up here for Christmas, so I will be in town for Christmas.
Okay.
But you know how it is with Christmas time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. Have you started your Christmas shopping yet? No,
because every year I make my money for Christmas the 2 days after Thanksgiving when I work the military collector show.
Basically, what it comes down to is that if Christmas were tomorrow, my son would be taken care of, but nobody else would. Let's put it that way.
And we're cutting way back on everything.
I have the last few years. It's one of those things with him. Like
we don't have much of a choice.
Yeah,
we've got to.
With him, it's kind of he doesn't expect a whole lot. And I say that, I mean, not because believe me, he's gotten a ton of stuff in his short life. Plus he's got a birthday coming up. So I mean, he's got a birthday right before Christmas. So it's kind of he gets a bunch of stuff for his birthday, and then he gets a bunch more stuff a little later. And so it's one of those that he gets a lot of stuff around that time period. Don't get me wrong, but he also is not one of those like, why are there only so many presents here? So he's like, no, there's presents. And now I got new toys to play with. And that's it, So that's good. Exactly, and he's also getting older to where his presents are getting a little more expensive. It's not too bad yet.
Yeah. Well, all the people keep going, "Oh, we need a Christmas list from you," and I'm like, no, you really don't, because the stuff that I want,
I'll buy. That's
the stuff that I'm wanting is too expensive to ask somebody to buy. So I've basically look, if you want to get me something, get me like a Visa gift card, or a gift card to somewhere.
My mom, God bless her, every year winds up buying me clothes, and every year I wind up taking them back and exchanging them for something else.
Yeah,
and I have told her multiple times, stop buying me clothes. And I mean, going all the way back to like when I was, in my 20s, of like, stop buying me clothes. My mom has been trying to dress me like a 50-year-old man since I was a teenager. And as I'm approaching being a 50-year-old man, I still have no desire to dress that way. Yeah. So it's
well, with my wife's family, I've actually gotten it pretty good, because both my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law pay attention to what I wear, and actually do a fairly good job that if they buy me clothes, they buy me something that it looks like something I would wear.
Right.
So,
although I will say
they're really good about it.
My mom last year did get me a T-shirt that is wonderful. It says, it was just a T-shirt, just a gray T-shirt, black letters on the front of it. It said, "Don't grow up, it's a trap."
Yes,
and I was like, this might be the best gift you have ever given me. Like the most honest gift that you could ever give me. So.
Yep.
My son, he's getting ready to turn 8, and I'll say something about him every once in a while. I'll be like, "Yeah, you're getting so big." He's like, "No, I don't want to grow up." I'm like, "Hey, all you got to do is look at me to know you never have to grow up." Okay. You may have to get older. You may have to age.
Yeah.
You don't have to grow up.
You might want to make few bad decisions.
Well, he seems to. We got his report card the other day. He's doing really well, and he seems to be smarter than his dad. So hopefully he will make better decisions. And it's like I always tell people, is like, it's. I think we've talked about this before. My son has intellectual. He's on the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
And of course they do all this testing and everything they do up front, and they do IQ tests and all that stuff, which I'm here to tell you right now, IQ tests are BS, because I have a high IQ and I make some of the dumbest decisions you would ever make.
No. Let's understand. IQ is intelligence. There is no test for common sense.
Yeah, I know, but that's
you seem to be having a huge lack of.
But yeah, that's one of those things. Every time somebody says, "Oh, IQ, blah blah blah," I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I've got 136 IQ, which is good on anybody's scale." And you know what? I still do some of the dumbest stuff you will ever see in your life. So it's
common sense. Not everyone has it.
So,
which is why I ended up
which is one of those things that when they were doing they were telling me his IQ, all that kind of stuff early on. I'm just sitting there going, that doesn't mean anything whatsoever. It's just like
which is why I've had to play your Jiminy Cricket so many times, being like, you don't really need to do that. And like Pinocchio, you went off and did your own thing anyway.
What is it?
You're still not
Island.
You're still not a real boy.
I will never be a real boy. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for following us on our social medias, as well as joining us here this evening. Go and check us out. You
Discord. You can come over there and hang out with us and be part of this conversation.
We will talk to you. Believe me.
Yeah. You might not like it, but we'll talk to you.
Thanks so much to so many people who have come and joined over here.
No, hold on. I'm going to pull it up. We need to thank them by name at this point.
Oh, yeah. Well, Brian and Barry, and, of course, Miss So is over there. I think is Stu Baca in there? I think so.
I'm looking right now to see who I can find.
So, yeah, it's one of those things.
We've got, of course, John from Gen X Grown Up. We've got Sparks 821.
Yeah.
We got Stu Baca's there. Charlie 78. I'm not sure
my cousin.
Oh, is that your cousin? Hey, Charlie. Yeah. Miss So, of course, Miss So.
We love Miss So. She's so great. She's always sending us stuff. So,
but Brian and Barry.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things where you come on over there and we'll have a good time. I mean, And of course, you can always get us on Instagram and Facebook, and there are links to, and of course, email. We have email address. You can email us and tell us that we're right or wrong, or
we suck,
how much of monsters we really are, or whatever it is. So.
Now, no, let's get this straight. You're the monster.
Whatever.
You're the monster.
So, anyways, guys, thank you so much. We will see you next time. I am Alan Smith.
I'm the other guy, Big Dave.
And have a good evening.
Go have a turkey sandwich.
Bye.
Bye.